Instagram's connecting. Okay. Ready on Instagram. Let me go to YouTube real quick. YouTube live. Live. Facebook group. Okay. Okay, cool. So now I clicked all the buttons. Now we are live. Awesome.
Let's go.
Awesome. 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 Yes, let's rock and roll. Um, okay, so just to recap today's live stream, if you remember last Wednesday, we talked about offers kind of at a high level. Um, we kind of said which offers to go with, how to make a good offer, and those kinds of things. In today's live stream, we're going to go over how, like, what the actual offer will look like when it's live. So that's what we're going to go into a lot of detail about today. We're going to show you exactly what that looks like. I'm going to open up Ads Manager. We're going to show you what the wording looks like. Um, Radu, am I missing anything else that we covered last week?
I think it would be retargeting. Why
Retargeting, yeah.
that's effective. How to do it. Plus, we did talk about offers, but just for a bit. And now we can expand on the offers. Yep.
Yes. Yes. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's dive right in. We're going to go ahead and show you the offers, and we're going to break down the components of the offers. So we're not just going to show you something like an ad that you can copy and paste. We're going to break down our thinking behind it. So
Yep.
without further ado, here is the first one. Let me know how that shows on that on the screen.
Uh, Looks good. Not that small.
Okay.
Might be readable a bit, but we're gonna read it anyway. Yep.
Let me do okay, maybe that's no, that looks a little weird because of the logo. Anyway, I'm going to read along. Let's break down this first part, Radu. Um, can you kind of go into detail on exactly this offer and what's going on here within the first line?
Yeah. So next 7 people get 200 off our ceramic coating packages. So that's a quick one line limited time offer. So when people see that, first of all, it's only for a limited amount of time, somewhat, because it's dependent on like only the next 7 people might get it.
Yeah.
So you have to act fast. You can't wait for 2 or 3 days because by the end of the day, maybe someone might take that offer. And then the second best part is the dollar amount off. So when people see dollar amount off a specific service, even if they might not be that interested to begin with, they might maybe they'll just think, hey, I'm gonna find out what this is about because who knows, I
Yes.
might need it. So dollar
Yes.
amount off, yeah,
Yeah. And like we talked about last time, dollar amounts off perform way better than a percentage off. Um,
yeah,
and the reason being is because dollar amounts is just something that is easier to think about, right? There's less thinking that the lead has to do. Even when you give the quote. So, for example, a lead calls you up, they want to know what the quote is. You tell them something along the lines of $1,500 um, with the discount already included, right? Normally $2,000 or
yep,
normally $1,700. It's just way easier than saying, okay, here's your quote of $1,700. We're going to take 10% off of that. It's
yep,
just a little bit harder to think about. It's a little bit harder for the lead to make a decision based on a percentage discount versus just a flat dollar amount. Okay. And then in the next line, it reads ceramic coatings are a durable protective layer applied to your vehicle's clear coat, providing protection for bird dropping, sun fade, tree sap, and more so your vehicle can stay shinier for much longer. Um, so here in this line, we're really going into detail and highlighting the main selling points of a coating, right? We're breaking down the protection aspect and what it protects or what it helps protect against specifically, right? So we have the bird droppings. That's a big one. Sun fade is also a big one in certain states like
yep,
Texas, Florida, Arizona, right? Where they have these super hot summers. Especially if somebody's parking their vehicle outside, that sun will eat through that clear coat. So you definitely want to highlight that. Tree sap, just something that is historically super hard to get rid of or get off of your car, right? You have to do a little bit more work there to get tree sap off if your vehicle is not coated. And then we also, this line right here, this right here appeals to new vehicle car owners, right? This is like the framing that we want to let them know about. Like, okay, if I get my vehicle ceramic coated, it'll help protect the paint so it stays looking
Yeah.
newer for a lot longer. So we're basically planting that seed in their head of this is what a ceramic coating can help protect against, and exactly what it helps protect against there. Or do anything else as far as like from a marketing point of view that you want to add with this line here?
I would say it's enough because it's the main educational aspect about it. So first of all, it says what ceramic coating is. There are always going to be people that don't know what the ceramic coating is. So in just 2 sentences, I guess that clearly conveys the main points. Bird droppings can definitely affect the paint. So with obviously doing the ceramic coating is going to help you retain the value. Plus sun fade again, tree sap. Those are the main ones. And then before we jump into the other benefits, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
main idea.
yeah, and again, I think the biggest thing that we want to highlight for this live stream is the fact that this line right here is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, right? This is like
Yeah,
the first line that they see without, expanding the text on the mobile feed for both Facebook and Instagram, right? So this line right here, we want it to stand on its own. We want it to be bold. We want it to grab people's attention and really command that space there. Because if somebody doesn't expand the text and they miss all of this, you still want to be able to get the idea across of exactly what you're advertising, which is $200 off your ceramic coating packages. So again, you do want to separate this line right here, the line that tells them what the offer is, from the rest of your text. Just because that line there is going to grab most people's attention, it's going to be what carries the campaign, right? Because if somebody
yeah,
sees $200 off your ceramic coating packages, that is enticing. That will get them to stop scrolling, to read the rest of the text, to watch the rest of the video. So when it comes to offers, this is why this line right here is super simple, right? We want to separate it from the rest of the text, because if somebody just reads one thing or they take away one thing only from the ad copy, it should be this line right here, which is the offer.
yeah, yep,
Everything else uh, is just highlighting the benefits of what they'll get after they get the vehicle coated, right? So yes, we covered this part. Again, we reiterate the fact that it protects your vehicle from everyday wear and tear over time. Um, and then you also want to highlight, like at a high level, what's included in this package. From what we've seen with the testing that we've done in our advertising, is you don't want to go into too much detail. You don't want to go into a lot of detailing jargon when it comes to breaking down the bullet points. Because if you do mention something like a broad term like decon, right? A decontamination, that itself can include two things, right? It could be a clay bar decontamination, it could be an iron decontamination. Um, so you want to highlight it that way. You want to basically translate exactly that step into something that's a little bit more easier to understand. So in this
yep.
example, we're doing that with the paint correction, removing swirl marks and other minor paint defects to make your car shine again. Um, Radu, can you walk me through the wording here that we're using, right? Because I think one thing that we're keeping in mind is we don't want to overpromise what a ceramic coating can do. So can you touch
Yeah.
on like key aspects of this line right here to kind of set those expectations for the
Yeah,
leads?
sure. So the first one, swirl marks. Most people have those on the vehicle. Most people know what those are. So just
Yes,
clearly
super
saying,
common.
hey, removing swirl marks. Like when you read that, you're probably gonna need that. So that's a good way to start the ad copy with the in terms of the benefits, and then other minor paint defects. Again, most people also have those. So it's nice to start off the disadvantage list, this benefit list with those things that most people have before jumping into maybe the, as I said in the next one, candy like shine, because maybe most people don't are not really that into the candy like shine, but swirl marks, paint defects, most people have those. So easy way to start the benefit list. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And again, we're just kind of reiterating like the main selling points of a coating without over promising what it can and cannot do. So I think that's the biggest takeaway with this bullet point. The candy like shine, right? We're kind of using a little bit more descriptive, more yeah, more descriptive wording here in the text, right? Because you can always use words like shiny and like ultra shine, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't really give somebody like a clear idea of how shiny it will be, right? If we use like analogies like candy like shine, it just kind of helps drive that point even further.
Yep.
Durable paint protection that keeps your vehicle looking newer for longer. This right here is basically reiterating this top half, right? The main selling points. Again, this ad copy is more geared towards new vehicle owners. So this is something that we want to break off, you know, because I would say this bullet point right here is reiterating this line right here,
Yeah.
but as its own line with the green checkmark emoji. So, um, another thing that I want to highlight is the format. The format matters a lot, right? You see how we have the first line, second line, third line, and then the bullet points. You want to separate your ad copies in a very similar format because this makes reading it a lot easier. It makes skimming through it a lot easier. And versus using one big wall of text, you do not want to use one big wall of text because nobody will end up reading your ad copy. But if it's broken up like this, it becomes a lot more easier to read. Somebody can just skim it and they can, kind of go into more detail. Um, looks like we got a YouTube comment. What are you talking? We're talking about the offers for Facebook and Instagram advertising. Um, and if you didn't watch our previous live stream, offers basically help entice somebody to get them to submit their information to become a lead with you, to book a ceramic coating job with you. Offers do a lot of that heavy lifting when it comes to advertising. And I think offers in general are something that you should be thinking about as a business owner all year round, right? Line up
Yep.
your offers with certain holidays, like the 4th of July, like we just had. So that kind of
Yep.
moves me to the second bullet point here, which is a $400 off offer. And we kind of go into more detail on the pricing. We show pricing, we show exactly where the coding is going to be applied to. And again, we have this wording that we have up there with the benefits that we outlined toward new vehicle owners, right? So again, one thing that I would definitely shy away from in advertising from our experience is that um, if you lean too much into the restorative aspect of your ads, it kind of attracts the wrong kind of leads, right? If you really highlight the paint correction transformations, it can really, bite you in the butt. And the biggest way that it bites you in the butt is you get a lot of older vehicles coming through, people who have really beat up paint condition, right? Where you see the oxidation marks, like there's practically no clear coats on their vehicle.
Yeah.
So I would want to frame everything with that kind of lens of like we want to write the ads for new vehicle owners, right? Because that'll be the biggest market that we can target. um, and if you kind of target people who are in the restorative aspect, they tend to have older vehicles that are neglected. And when you get into pricing, they almost never schedule because of that, right? I mean, think about it. They have an older vehicle that they've neglected. It's probably too late for them to begin thinking about restoring it back to showroom shine, unless it is like a project vehicle, showcase car, um, something that they're just kind of rejuvenating. So in that case, it would be worth it. But overall, again, we really want to advertise to new vehicle owners. Radu, is there anything else as far as words or framing or images and videos that people should shy away from? That way, you're not getting low quality leads.
Yeah, I think it's about finding this balance. You can always use offers if you switch them around, but then again, you don't want to promise or like say that you'll over deliver because 20-year-old vehicle, you might not restore it. Oxidation comes in and all those. So it's about finding that balance of using offers and then also making sure that you're targeting the right people. Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's dive into this offer. Offer number two. So offer number one was $200 off, and offer number two, we're kind of tying the same idea with the dollar amount off, but now we're making it more specific to a holiday. So a
Yep.
holiday that just came up was the 4th of July. And with a dollar amount off, the reason why I personally love a dollar amount off is because it can be so malleable. You can use it for your 4th of July, you could use it for your Christmas, Thanksgiving specials, your Black Friday specials. It becomes super malleable. You can basically mold it to those different holidays, the different events. Like if you have a grand opening coming up, you could do a dollar amount offer. And then one thing that I do want to touch on before we dive into a lot of detail with this offer, Radu, is a bundle offer. Radu, can you talk to me about what a bundle offer looks like?
Yeah. So besides the dollar amount off, which is already great, when a specific because you can use a specific offer maybe in August, but let's say it's 4th of July or it's Christmas, you can add something more to that offer. So dollar amount off plus a bund plus more, for example, the paint, trim, wheel glass included. That's something else. So it's the dollar amount off, and then you're adding something more to the table, something more
Yes.
to the specific offer. So obviously you want to incentivize people more when you want to book more. When Christmas comes up, you can add it in. So it makes the offer even more attractive. So 400
Exactly.
off, and we also give you this. So when people
Yes.
see 400 off and this, way more eyes on your ad. Yeah.
Yeah, it just becomes a more, you're basically sweetening the pot, right? It becomes a more enticing offer. Especially the cool thing about an offer is that it really helps push people over the fence who are already going to make that purchase anyway, right? So
Yeah.
think about how many people there out there on Facebook, on Instagram, on Google, searching your website, right? They love the idea of getting their vehicle coded, but they don't really have a reason to, right?
Yeah.
Because the protection aspect, they're not really thinking about how their vehicle will look if they don't get it protected in the long run, right? They're not thinking about that. It's not top of mind. But if they are thinking about it, they're toying with the idea, you've planted that seed to spark that interest, and you throw them $400 off plus an added bonus. Now it's like, wow, like that offer itself is super good, and I'm already thinking about getting my vehicle ceramic coated. So that right there is what helps push people over the fence if they are on the fence.
Yeah. Yep.
And it helps generate a lot of interest right off the bat. So if somebody sees $400 off in an advertisement, and they're not exactly super sure what a ceramic coating is or how it could benefit them, now you sparked that interest. You've planted that seed in their head, and now they're going to go off and do their research. But it's better if you give them all that information up front in your ad. So this kind of goes back to what we've talked about previously about making educational video content. Educational video content will do a lot of that educating for you. Again, just to recap with educational video content, why it's super powerful. Um, if you think about the buying journey that somebody takes when they're looking at getting their vehicle coded, one of the first places they go to is Google. The downside with advertising on Google is that there's a small amount of people who do that. But if they are doing their research, it's a good place for them to start because now they can read blog articles, they can watch YouTube videos, right? They're just learning a lot about getting their vehicle ceramic coated. But the downside to that is that information isn't specific to your packages or your pricing.
Yep.
So this is where educational video content really helps drive the idea home. Where if you can make an ad saying, "Hey, we're doing a $400 off our 6-year ceramic coating package. Here's what the process looks like when you get your vehicle coated with us." That's a slam dunk because now you've generated the interest, you've educated them on your process, and you've given them an idea of what it's going to cost and the benefits. So you're knocking out four things in one video and ad. So this is where like the full picture really comes into play, because you can take this ad copy, you can run it in your ads, but if you don't have an educational video to help illustrate or help drive the idea home that you're trying to convey here, it's just it'll be you'll see some success, but you won't see the success that you otherwise would if you
Yeah.
had those educational videos. Rodeo, let's go to the third ad copy. So just to recap, we have $200 off, we have $400 off. We're adding some different bonuses here, and we're showcasing pricing. But if you notice, the rest of the ad copy down here stayed the same, because this right here is just meant to give people further information to the benefits of a ceramic coating. But
Yeah.
think of this headline and the offer as as the hook, right? As the fishing line to really hook people in and grab their attention. So the third one is one that I love. This offer right here. Um, this
Best
right
one.
here, to me, the first one is the dollar amount to offer due. The second one is this one right here, because it's so powerful if you use it correctly. So I'm gonna put an asterisk here. Like, if you use this correctly, it could be very beneficial to you. Okay, so Radu, talk to me about this third offer here, the BOGO offer.
Yeah, so the BOGO offer, as it says over here, you can name it whatever, but in this case, it's Freedom Special. Buy one vehicle ceramic coating, get your second vehicle of equal or lesser value 50% off. So this one, you might be thinking that on the second vehicle, you're going to lose out on 50% of the cash, but you're going to win way more clients on your side. Because if you bring someone in, they know they're going to get their second vehicle coated for 50% off, you're still going to cash in even long term, but also short term. Because when you first target them, they might not be convinced on why they should get their vehicle coated. They might do some research. You'll find out about ceramic coatings, and then when you retarget them, as Sal just said, if you do it correctly, if you retarget them with this offer, then usually people that pass on this offer, usually they don't buy. In my opinion, 50% off on a second vehicle is one of the biggest offers that you can give.
Exactly. Yes, 100%. And okay, so couple things going on here. So with a BOGO offer, get one vehicle coated, get the next vehicle of equal or lesser value 50% off, right? So right off the bat, you're kind of adding a cap to that of a vehicle. The second vehicle needs to be equal of lesser or lesser value. Um, but the cool thing about this, like the extra, like the pro ninja move would be to raise your prices by 50% to account for that second vehicle getting the 50% discount.
Yeah.
And that is something that I would do right off the bat, just so you're not, you know, going below your pricing threshold, right? Because when you say your prices, depending on how you say your prices, you know, if you're calculating your costs, your competitors, right, you can you could really hurt yourself if you do the BOGO special the wrong way. So I would right off the bat, I would raise your prices by 50% to account for that second vehicle. And then the second part that Radu was talking about was the network effects that this offer here has. Because think about this, with not only is this offer just a no-brainer and super attractive, but think about the network effects that it has when your coworker, your family member, your friend is telling their coworkers, their family members, and their friends. So when so the first time that we tried this offer was this time last year with a client, and it was just something radical that the client actually wanted to test. The client came to us. They said, "Hey, what do you guys think about this offer?" And I thought that's a really good offer if we can do it the right way. And at this point, we didn't know the network effects that this offer had. But it wasn't until after the promotion ended that we realized, wow, this thing spread like a wildfire. It's super contagious, and people just gravitate towards such a good offer that they're telling their friends and family. So not only are you getting more clientele, but this offer spreads like crazy. So if you're
Yeah.
advertising it, just know that you're going to get a lot of leads right off the bat. But again, you do want to do it the right way where you're accounting for that 50% off, right, with your pricing. And then also keep in mind that the leads that come in will tell their friends and family, their coworkers, and people around them. So you're going to, this is a really good opportunity to build up your clientele if you don't have a strong ceramic coating clientele. This right here gives you the chance to really build up that network. And the cool thing is about this that we didn't even mention is you're also building out your maintenance program with this special offer, right? Because you're getting more customers. Those coatings need to be maintained, and you can just add them to your maintenance offers. So there's three ways to monetize it, right? Correctly, right? By accounting for the 50% off discount, the network effects of people just telling their friends and family near them, and then lastly, the maintenance program aspect, right?
Yeah.
Um, like if you want to be super aggressive with this offer, you could just keep your pricing the same. Don't account for the 50% discount, but really drive the upsell in the maintenance program.
Yeah.
That right there is how you can monetize this offer over the long run. Okay, so lastly, I'm going to stop sharing my screen on this screen and I'm going to go ahead and show what this offer would look like in an ad campaign. So I'm just going to copy and paste the first one so you guys can see what it looks like and how I would recommend you format it in the ad text. So let me copy and paste this here and then I'll share my screen here shortly. Okay. Just to wrap up here, share screen, ads manager. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm an ads manager. If you're not familiar with this setup, this might look new to you, but we have previous live streams where we kind of walk you through this from start to finish. So go check those out on our YouTube channel, just YouTube Detailers Growth, and you'll be able to see our live streams there. But for this example, this is the way I would recommend it looks like in the ad. So this is a great example to illustrate this first line, right? Because by default, Facebook is not showing you the rest of this text. They have to
Yeah.
stop scrolling and click see more to read the rest of the text. So that's why the first line needs to be separate and attractive from the rest of the text. But if you go down here and you expand, if you expand this, now they can see the rest of the text. It's a little cut off for me, so let me go ahead and reshare this. Advanced, oh, expand. Okay, here we go. And you want to add some text down here to really, grab their attention as well. Redo. Let's talk about the headlines. So the headlines are what you see here, right here at the bottom of the form, or at the bottom of the video. Redo. Can you talk to me about kind of the thinking behind these headlines and why they're so effective?
Yeah. So when it comes to marketing and making ads, I would say the headline, personally, it's my favorite, but I would say that it's the most important one because it's in this bold text. When you scroll, people either land and they read the first line of the ad copy, which is not in bold, or the headline. So either way, the headline is like the main one. And if you want to be really aggressive, you can add in the offer in the headline as well. So people will see the offer in there. Obviously, it might be needed to write nicely so that everything is can fit. But
Yeah.
you can either go for a simple offer or maybe add some specific benefits, either of the ceramic, or if you maybe want to have maybe you have a bundle, you can also let people know that hey, we also have this bonus. So maybe the first line of the ad copy can be the offer, the headline can be the bonus. So I would say it's super important real estate, and you should use it carefully.
Yes.
So if I would make this ad, I would spend most of my time thinking what I want to convey in the headline. If the headline is 10 out of 10, the first line of the ad copy is also 10 out of 10, then most of the ad is already doing its job. It's attracting attention. And then
Yes.
when people click on it, on read more, the rest is quite obvious what the ceramic coating is. So, yeah.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So yeah, from start to finish, that's exactly what we want to convey is we want to hook them in. We want to grab their attention with the offer, right? That's the purpose of the offer. And we gave you some examples of offers that you could use. Um, but honestly, it really does come down to testing, right? When you're testing different offers, you want to be able to see what resonates with your market the most, right? Because what might work in Texas or Florida or Arizona might not
Yep.
work for the North, right? It might not work in Wyoming, in Oregon, Washington, right? So the best way to think about offers is I would be very generous when it comes to the offer that you're advertising, right? You don't want to do $50 off. You don't even want to do $100 off because those are not meaningful. They're not something that'll grab people's attention and ultimately get them to book, right? Because
Yep.
let's take the $200 off offer. With that offer, that gives you a lot of ammunition to use in the sales process because now you can say, hey, Redu, your quote is, based on the package that you saw in the ad and what we're running right now as a promotion. Normally the pricing would be $1,700, right? But with the advertisement that we're running, the promotion that we're running, it only comes down to $1,500. Now, when you frame it like that, now it becomes more clear exactly what you're selling, how much it costs, and the value of it. Um, so again, even with dollar amount offers, you want to account for that in your pricing, right? You don't want to take $200 off your existing pricing. I would raise your prices $200 off. So it seems like a great offer, but you're not losing out on that extra revenue, right? It's just
Yep.
the way it's being framed and the way we're advertising it that really matters and will really make the difference there. Um, because especially with advertising, you want to account for the added cost, right? Because you're spending 20, 30, $40 a day, right? It stacks up. So you need to make up that lost revenue somehow. Best way I would recommend would be to just increase your prices to account for that discount and the ad spend. So with that being said, from start to finish, that is exactly what an offer looks like and what it looks like in the ad. So now let us know what offers you're currently running, right? We're curious. We want to know exactly what's working for you now, what's worked in the past. Um, and one thing I will say, Radu, and I'm sure you've had the same experience, is not all offers will perform forever, right? They
Yep.
fatigue. People get tired of them. So you want to keep things fresh. So, Radu, what would be the last piece of advice that you would give somebody to keep those offers fresh?
I would definitely try switching from maybe from a dollar amount off to a dollar amount off plus bonus, so a
Yes.
bundle. That would be the first one I would use, and then tie it in somehow with the specific so 4th of July, Black Friday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. There's so many opportunities to add these in that it seems they always change. And when people see these ads, there's always going to be something different. So I would shy away from having the exact same thing year round.
Yes.
Plus, especially in those situations in which the audience is not a very big audience. So if you're going to
Yeah.
target a lower end audience, obviously you might want to switch around things more often. But if you have maybe a 3 million audience size, it might work for a bit longer. But yeah, definitely change it around, be creative, take advantage of all the holidays. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. And yes, if you're tying in your special offers around holidays, that's just a smart move because people are already in the buying mood, especially when we get in the fall. That's when people are thinking about Christmas gifts. They're starting to think about, holiday plans. They're naturally already going to be spending money, especially if they're thinking about getting it done sometime. So this special offer can definitely compress and shorten that time frame, right? Because
Yep.
if you don't give people a reason to pull the trigger and book with you, They never will, right? Which is why you see a lot of people who might hit you up for a quote. You ask them when they're looking to get it done, and they say, within the next few months, right? But then a couple months come, they're kind of kicking the can down the road. But if you give somebody a reason and an expiration date, right? You add the urgency. Hey, we only have 7 spots for this month for this special offer, right? It's limited. It's not going to be here forever. You want to pull the trigger now, right? And then that's when you would refresh the offer. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap things up. Radu, is there anything else that we're missing when it comes to offers? I think the biggest thing would be to just keep things fresh, see what works for your market. But anything else you want to add before we end the stream?
That would be it. Top of mind, people need to see your business. They need to have a good incentive to buy. So just refresh
Exactly.
the offer, give a quick interior detail as well when you see that
Yes.
might catch on. So offers just about being creative. So think about those and always switch them around. Yeah.
Yeah, be creative with your offers and test them, right? And even if you're not advertising, I would still reach out to your customers, right? If you have a database of those customers in your CRM like OrbisX or you're able, Happy Detail, all these CRMs, you have their emails, you have their phone numbers where you can go to them and send them a text blast. Hey, John, we're currently doing this $200 off special offer. Reply
Yep.
yes if this sounds interesting to you, right? Especially if you have a large database of vehicles that you haven't coded yet, like interior jobs. This will really help you make the transition from detailing to just doing codings. And something we're actively doing with a lot of our clients is we're just reaching out to their existing customers, we're letting them know about the special offer, and now that's lining you up for a lot more ceramic coating jobs without spending a dollar in advertising.
Yep.
So we'll leave you with that, and we'll see you next week. Salvador here with Detailers Growth, sitting down with Radu or Dan, our ad specialist. We will see you guys next week. Have a good week.